Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the European Pro League for Smite. Is the kickoff LAN event, and we are pre-final. Our finalists are known. Unfortunately, the man joining us right now is not playing in it. Sayo from Cloud9. Commiserations. I don't want to be too hard on you, but you must be disappointed, firstly.
Yeah, of course. We're disappointed. We came to this event with the expected to win. We're the first seed in Europe overall, and it's kind of hard for us to go down to SK 2-0.
Yeah, absolutely. From your point of view, I mean, I spoke to Reels afterwards. I don't know whether you heard the interview, but they played very passive and they waited for you to come on. And that was their game plan. They knew that that's what they wanted to do. And he felt like that worked. But also, in addition to that, the boot camp really helped them.
Yeah, exactly. I think the boot camp really helped them in the sense of that they came warmed up for the whole tournament. We just dashed in kind of cold, like first serious game playing today. So it was a real advantage for them to have been to the SK boot camp here. And their strategy was very well prepared, and we didn't expect them to first pick Hebo and ban out the Chuck. This was our strategy, and they kind of threw us off.
Has that given you a bit of a lesson? I mean, yeah, because admittedly, there's nothing here that you walk away. I mean, a lovely trophy and $25,000 is pretty nice, but you still go away with $6,000. You haven't lost anything. You're still in the Pro League. The Pro League's still to come. So, are you that disappointed, or does it just given you a bit of a kick and a wake up?
Obviously, we're disappointed, but it definitely gave us some clues on how we should prepare for the November LAN in order to place top 2 for the World Championship in January. So I think we're just going to take the lesson here, be not too hard on ourselves, and we're just going to look forward to November and try to perform in the Pro League.
All right, okay. Let's just check out the brackets just to confirm for you the 2 matches that took place a little bit earlier on. 2 semi-finals ended like this. Cloud9 going out 2-0 to SK Gaming, and TSM, the other team who were the favourites to reach the final, also going out 2-1 to Team Coast Blue. What did you make of that second game? Team Coast played really well, but do you think TSM maybe didn't play as well as they've been playing?
I think for the first LAN of Coast Gaming, this was an amazing performance. I think they came prepared. TSM kind of underestimated them maybe.
So maybe a bit like you guys with SK.
Exactly. Like it was slightly, not underestimating, but I don't know, maybe just not coming too prepared for this. So I think Coast catch them off guard with the playstyle they did. The RAM was really strong in the first game, and I think they get a bit overconfident after like the first initial lead they had in the first game. So I think Coast overall just a stronger team here, more prepared, and they deserve to go through.
I mean, it's quite a story, isn't it, Jason? There's ragtag of players who were just, we'll play, we're worst gaming, whatever, and then now they're Team Coast Blue and they're winning and they're in the final.
One thing that's most impressive about them is the fact that they're really young, like really young. I think they have a couple people who are 14 here.
They do. He actually told me that he was 14, which is actually younger than my daughter. Which is pretty scary.
Well, you're young. You're a young man, so I don't tell you that when the camera's off. But but the thing is, to come into this, to a LAN event, when they're so young, against a crowd to perform that well, it's no easy feat. I mean, you've played in front of big crowds before. You know how hard it is, the pressure that's on your shoulders, and then to be so young and do it and pull off an upset is amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think there's much more we can say other than it's finals time, which means it's the 2 unexpected teams who are in the final. I have no idea which way this goes now. I mean, we had all of the stats. We were, Cloud9 have done this and TSM have done this, and if they played each other, they were 2-2 in matches and 5-5 in maps, and it was all set up brilliantly. But now we have no idea where this tournament's going. So what do you think? Of SK, I mean, you played them, you know how they played now, or do you feel like Team Coast maybe can do this?
I think with the preparation Team Coast has, they maybe have the slight edge over SK, because I think SK more prepared for facing TSM in the finals. So I think Coast might have a slight advantage in the finals right now. Okay. I'm saying 3-2 for Coast.
Really? Okay, so we may get all fired. Do you think, a lot of people will say, and have done over the years in esports, that a young team, they might not have the experience, but what they have is, they have no fear. And Team Coast are that team, aren't they?
Yeah, that's exactly right. If you have no fear and if you go in and make the plays and you don't hesitate making it, you're going to come out on top. And that's what happened to us today. We had the lead in the second game. We just kind of stalled it out till the point where they could come back, and we lost it.
Jason, what do you think?
I actually want to ask him a question in particular about the team, so I can make my decision on who I think is going to win. If you're to
is there money here? Have we exchanged some money on this? Okay, all right.
My question is, though, if you were to look at the strengths of SK, what would you say they are right now?
The strengths of SK is definitely their dual lane. They are very scary and they have really good synergy. So whatever they might pick, I think they might come out ahead, and this might be the downfall of Coast if they don't play it careful, because Shaggy Shang is a big part of Team Coast. He played amazingly, and in both games they won, like in Artemis and Ram, like he performed just like amazing. He just barely missed.
And what about the weaknesses of SK? Because I want you to like bring these up to us to watch during the game. Because obviously, if you know your weaknesses, makes you a better team, but you have to be able to fix that.
I think the weakness might be the soul in a bit. He farms very passive, and he doesn't ward that much, so he doesn't overward. So you could probably get off the ganks and get the soul in snowballing. So that might be the key to win. But I don't know what Coast is prepared against SK, and we're gonna see.
We're gonna head into picks and bans in a minute with Bart and Hindu Man. Any tips for either of the team of what they should or shouldn't ban? I mean, we saw what happened in game one.
Yeah. Tips, I don't know. I don't want to give out any tips to the teams right now, but I want to wish both teams best of luck. I mean, they deserve to be in the finals right now. They came prepared, and amazing performance from both teams. So.
Well, thank you very much, Dio. Thank you for joining us as well. Thank you, Jason. And it's time, ladies and gentlemen, for the grand final, who are the winners of $25,000 and an exceptional trophy to boot in our LAN kickoff event here for the Smite European Pro League. Time to join our commentary team of Bart and Hindu Man.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the pre-game period before we get into the best of 5 series between SK Gaming and Team Coast. And
Team
Sayo,
Solo Mid was
always
what nearly came off the head.
Always the politician there.
He really is. I mean, he was. Do you know what? To be fair to Cloud9 and to be fair to TSM, they're very respectful when they lose as well.
Yes.
Like, and for them to turn around and say both teams deserve to be here, that's a big shout out to these teams, to SK Gaming as well. For Cloud9 to lose to them and still be quite happy to do that. Overall, I mean, that's good for them.
Yeah, I know you were saying that you didn't want to say this on air, but I'm going to say it anyway, just because I find it very, very... I mean, it's a great insight into kind of what this is like.
Yeah.
So, in talking to the boys from Team Coast a bit during the break, as we were saying, like, are they going to be prepared to fight SK Gaming? Like, you would have expected it was in Coast or TSM in the finals. Are they going to be available? Are they going to be mentally prepared to go against SK Gaming? You said, well, what have you done to prepare for them? And they said, well,
nothing.
We haven't really prepared at all for anybody.
They literally said that blank, straight face to me as well. Said we didn't really prepare. And then one of them went, actually, no. We did a little bit of prep last night, and like all the teams last night were really heavily focused, especially like Cloud9 and TSM.
Yeah.
All went off to their to their own private areas and started discussing about what their plan was going into this one. But like Team Coast went, no, we just came and played pretty much. Like for them to come out and beat TSM the way they did and get themselves to this final now, without any preparation to an extent, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, just functioning off of skill and kind of unity, I guess, alone.
Exactly,
there.
Yeah.
Very, very impressive. It does look like we are getting underway here, guys, with game number 1. And just like that, the best of 5 is going to start. Ladies and gentlemen, it is going to be SK Gaming versus Team Coast. Left side of your screen, SK. Right side is Coast.
Now, the last time these two teams met on paper overall was in week 8. They met each other in the quarterfinals there. SK Gaming came out with a victory. This was the very last time they saw each other. And Osiris was picked from SK Gaming. Zeros went 4-1 and 10 on that. But as we saw with Osiris, Ninja Bobat will be quite happy to pick them up too. I expect that to be a contested pick along with Ram.
The Ninja Boat. SS Boat.
The Ninja Boat.
SS Ninja.
SS Ninja Boat.
SS Ninja Boat. Yeah, why not?
All of it.
So, bans coming through. Some surprises here. Rom banned out. Not something we normally see, but Osiris, Thor, and Aphrodite also off the table. And first pick, no surprise here, is going to be Hubwa going the way of SK Gaming. Hubwa has been a very popular pick in this tournament and in Europe overall, of course, but even more so, I feel like, in this tournament.
That's right. I mean, with the Rom ban as well, looking at that one, that's such a respect ban from Team Coast to turn around and say, okay, Reels, we appreciate you can also play Rom, and you are first pick. We will not let you have it in this case. So what we'll do is, we're gonna make sure we ban that one away. And in response, SK banning Osiris out against them, that's a respect ban back again, to Ninja Boat. So going backwards and forwards between those two is quite impressive, of the fact that he's showing so much respect.
So looking at the first 3 picks, rounding out here, guys, Hubwa, Artemis, and Geb going to be the roster for SK Gaming. On the other side for Coast, they'll get the Athena Zhonghui combination that is just so potent, as well as the Apollo. It'll be the first time we'll see an Apollo today. We'll see if he brings a split push to the table or even his beautiful spec off skin.
We did see Youngbei played Apollo game 1.
Oh, we did play game 1. I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah,
in a long time.
Yeah, it was a long time ago, many hours before. I mean, I'm not used to it. We're in a different time zone back then, more than likely. So,
nah, dude.
I mean, so with Apollo being off against Artemis overall in the lanes, we've got potential there for them to be able to split push away to victory if need be. With Rom being banned out as well, you've only really got Apollo to pick up, and you have to pick it in that position, Bart, because otherwise they'll ban it away.
Yeah. You're right. Chang'e going to be banned out from Team Coast here, actually, although that's a very... clearly here, they're going to ban out Chang'e so they can pick up the Ra and not have to deal with the anti-heal from Chang'e. On the other side, SK Gaming get a banned out Ninja Hunbots there from Bobat.
Here's the big thing. Maniac, top 3 gods that he's played that we saw in the stats earlier on was Aphrodite, Ra, and Chang'e. If you're going to be first pick, in the counter after the counterban phase, take out Chunga, take out that. But here we go. Zeros again.
Once again, bringing the tier to the table, and I think this is a pretty nice pickup. They get a lot of AoE CC out of the Geb. They get the lockdown on single to multiple targets from tier, although likely to be single. Artemis chain stun, very effective in team fights as well, and then the hub wall for damage. But they have to be looking for another damage source here out of their jungle. It needs to be a big one. And Freya is available here. I wouldn't be surprised to see her picked.
I mean, Freya could be one. I think Mateo will be in the jungle more than likely for Zeros. Overall.
Yeah, it looks like, okay, it won't be Zeros here in the jungle. It'll be Ao Kwong will be holding down your mid lane, in fact, and Hubwa going to the solo lane. For whatever reason, in my mind, it was Hubwa mid, but...
But the Fenrir pick right at the end there, coming up from Team Coast. Last time they played Fenrir was against Cloud9, and it didn't go very well.
No, but, I mean, you can see the obvious synergy here. The Athena, Zhong Kui, and Fenrir combination going to be able to lock down targets and keep them in that Zhong Kui ultimate for some time. Quite a bit of burst as well. Fenrir also brings a tremendous amount of early game pressure with his Brutalize, especially in the duo lane, where he'll be going up against the Hubwa and Tyr combination. Although Fenrir might have some trouble with Tyr, he will be able to aggress very heavily onto Hubwa. In fact, he's one of the top counters to Hubwa, as his Brutalize will follow through the crushing wave.
Yeah, I mean, that's one good thing to come out from Fenrir. I mean, if you notice the picks and bans here, guys, as you can see on the screen, look at SK Gaming's bans here. All junglers. They're focusing Bobat.
Yeah.
What did we see what did we see from TSM? They focus onto variety for the most part, and then it switched to Shaggy Shank. But SK Gaming, they technically have a small advantage here, I feel, in terms of planning for this game overall, but you know, because they were able to watch that best of 3 set against TSM that, you know, Coast just played and went, okay, who do we try and pick apart in this composition? And they feel it's going to be Ninja Bobat is the focus point going into this spot.
But with that, ladies and gentlemen, we are underway with game number 1 in a best-of-5 series between SK Gaming and Team Coast. Let's go ahead and introduce your teams. They are the blue team fighting out of the bottom side of the minimap and the left side of your spectator UI. It is SK Gaming. Zeros in the jungle as Tyr. Captain Twig will be your mid lane, Ao Kwong. Maniac in the solo lane as Hubwa. Badger and Real ZX will be comprising your duo lane as Geb and Artemis. Their opponents today wearing the red trunks and fighting out of the top side of the minimap and the right side of the spectator UI. It is Team Coast Blue. They are Carino in the mid lane as Ra. Variety in the solo lane as Zhongkui. Ninja Bobat in the jungle as the Fenrir. And Shaggy Shank plus Princess Tomato make a duo lane of Apollo and Athena.
So what it shows from me straight away off the bat, Bart, you can see Maniac's gone for the Aegis start, and you can also see Zeros has gone for Blink at the start of this game. It means he's going to be a bit slower in the jungle. However, it looks like they might go for a bit of a level 1 bait here, SK Gaming. They might go very aggressive, allow Hubwa to tank up the most part of the minion wave as they get into a fight then, Aegis away from the damage, and immediately allow Zeros to finish off that kill with the Blink, or, you know, something along those lines, basically. They're looking to fight at the early solo, in the early solo level 1, but the Aegis will help out against Fenrir.
It's a tricky gambit, though, to play here.
It is.
To try to run an Aegis versus a Zhongkui as an early item. I mean, Zhongkui does so much damage over an extended period of time, and really the only thing you're going to be able to Aegis away from is going to be a couple ticks of his ultimate if it comes to that, and maybe if you're lucky, you're going to be able to get rid of, what is it, Purge Demons.
Yeah, so Exorcism, yeah.
All right, yeah.
The Exorcism, possibly.
Yeah, the Exorcism, yeah. So, I mean, but you're going to take the dot damage either way.
That's
so,
true.
I mean, granted, he's going to have to pick this up over time, but I'm not sure that at level 1, it's really going to avoid that much damage.
I mean, maybe it's trying to deal with the Brutalize coming out from
That
Ninja
is a
Bobat
good
as
point.
well.
It is likely to be the Brutalize. You're absolutely right there. That is a spell that does take some time to kind of come to fruition, but is applied and then can be stopped. So I think the Brutalize is probably where you're looking at that pickup to go. And in fact, we are going to be seeing, yeah, I mean, Carino in the mid lane is Raw here. You know, we would have probably expected it to go the way of Variety, but it is Variety in the solo lane of Zhongkui.
I think that's what they were trying to mix up here. I mean, Carino always plays someone a bit safer in the middle lane overall. This is a real farm lane though now, right, Bob? Because middle lane, you know, Ao Kwong just going to be able to farm away, and and Carino's not going to have an issue there. Seeing Variety on something not like Raw, though, it's going to be interesting to see how he plays this one out.
Oh, this could be dangerous right here for Coast. Ninja Bobat is going to have a stun available on the Fenrir if they come out of this tower at all. He's going to go ahead and jump in there and find this kill. First wave did go pretty much in favor of Coast Gaming here, as now SK is going to make their way in. You know, the Blink tier into the tower with Fearless, and then the Hubwa damage coming out. Both of them now sitting at level 2 could be quite dangerous, but Ninja Bobat and Variety ahead in levels.
And left-hand side, you see Princess Tomato trying to go aggressive onto Reels here, but Tomato dropping kind of low. The knock-up from Badge is going to pay dividends. That heal going to have to help out a bit, but Tomato's in a bit of trouble there, but there's still the aggression from Shaggy Shank.
Shaggy Shank!
Oh my goodness!
Overextended was Reels. The archer shots coming through in addition to the so beautiful and easy peasy kill for Mr. Shaggy Shank. And you'll notice he threaded the needle 3 times there to get those auto
That was
attacks.
hard. That was not easy to do.
No,
And now
that was hard.
look where Carino's going and look where Ninja Bobat's going as well. They're going for the speed buff invade. And because the lane of the duo is pushed up and that kill went down, but this is a free speed buff. They can't really contest this.
Yeah, down it will go in favor of Coast. And once again, Coast looking like they are the team to beat in this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, they're looking at on fire. I thought SK Gaming looked fantastic. I mean, to 2-0 Cloud9 so quickly, the way they did in the first round game that we saw today, but then Coast have come out off the top of that again and put the pressure onto SK Gaming.
Bobat's got great positioning here. Does he have the stun available? They're going to go in on a Badger. They'll find the stun after the taunt.
Good
A
stun.
little bit stacked up, but it should be enough damage with the Brutalize. Indeed it is. Bobat now doing quite well for himself. Level 4, 1 kill, and a stolen orange buff.
That's big. I mean, for him to be able to pick up a kill before he's level 5 and use that Ragnarok, he didn't even need that one available to him to be able to clamp down and allow them to apply the pressure. When that's available, things are not looking great at the start of this one for SK.
And it is not easy to play Alkwong versus Fenrir's in the early stages of the game.
Not at all.
Before you have your beads, he's going to want to try to stay here and farm as long as possible. His first back should be coming in just about now. We'll give him enough time to rally back for those mid camps, but he's basically forced into buying beads here. We'll see if Captain Twig does indeed go for it. No, he's actually going to elect for boots too, so he's going to try to run this lean and try to just avoid those Brutalize outright.
I mean, there's so many issues for SK Gaming because of the start of this game. Zeros is only level 4 now. He's got no camps available. He has to soak off a solo laner. Which lane does he go to? He can't go to duo because they're behind already. So he has to go to solo lane, which is going to put Hotbois behind over that Jean-Qui or look to contest the mid camps when you're behind and not level 5 on someone like Tyr. You've got to position yourself very, very carefully. Meanwhile, left-hand side in the duo lane, Princess Tomorrow now hit 5. He can leave Shaggy 2v1 here. Shaggy's well happy in this lane now.
Yeah, and Apollo, one of the hardest gods to fight against when he has an advantage. He just has so many tools in his kit to get free hits. He has the knock-up on the ultimate, he has the mez and the knock-up on the dash, as well as So Beautiful, which is almost impossible to dodge. He gets 3 or 4 free hits on you in any engagement, and when he's ahead and he has the crit first, that's basically a dead hunter every time.
Exactly, so we'll have to see what SK can do to get themselves back into this, because for now, both those camps did go in favor of Team Coast, it looked like overall. So Team Coast getting a small little lead there. No, I should lie, I believe SK got one of those as well. I mean, gold difference 1,000 right now, 500 experience difference, but that experience is starting to pay off for, you know, for Team Coast in the early stages.
First back max Aegis for Maniac here. He does not want to
Wow,
go down
that's
to the
really
Fenrir.
safe.
Ward coverage is not there for him. Not sure he sees this one coming in. In fact, I know he doesn't see it because I can see where all the wards are. Maniac could be in a bit of trouble here. If the Ragnarok comes out before that Aegis, wait, it's the greater Aegis, so he's going to be able to use it while there's the stun out into the ultimate. They're not going to get too much. They do drop the Athena ultimate as well onto this. I'd like to see them maybe try to pressure the tower, but no, it's going to be a 3-man rotation into the jungle where they're going to look for red buff. Perhaps.
Honestly, I don't agree with trying to go onto Hotbois there. You could see that he had the Aegis online. The full Aegis was available to him there, but why would you try and do that? Because you know he'll use the crushing wave as well.
Indeed.
You committed a lot on that right side of the map and didn't get anything for it. If they get the red buff, maybe it pays some dividends, but Zero's in the area.
They should be able to take both red and blue off of this. There's a cure onto the red. Will they go ahead and pick up the blue as well and take that away from Maniac, who once again is falling back? Nope. Variety having none of that. He says, stay here, my friend. And yeah, now they're going to go ahead and take out this blue buff as well. On the left side of the map, Shaggy Shank getting pushed out of the lane a bit by Badger, but he'll be A-okay, and it's a 4-man blue for Coast Gaming, but that's a lot of counter jungling. I mean, that's 3 jungle buffs taken away now from SK Gaming, which is translating into a 1,500 gold advantage.
Yeah, and now you're going to see Shaggy Shank quite happy to just take his off on the same time. I mean, look at the mid lane as well. You can see that on the screen right now. It's going to be between Captain Mid and Carino here. 67% win ratio to 64, so pretty close in terms of how many win-losses they have. But in terms of gold per minute, you can see that Captain Twig definitely the better farmer of the two.
I do like that you called him Captain Mid.
Captain Twig in the mid, is what I said.
Captain Mid.
Did I say Captain Mid? Oh.
Captain Mid.
Captain Mid was
He's now
we should call
officially
anyway.
Captain Mid in my heart.
The official Captain Mid.
Captain of the Mid.
We shall call him that. He's
Twiggy
reached the
Twigs. So this game, 5.5 minutes in, boys. 2 kills advantage in favor of Coast, as we've seen, and it looks like we're gonna have a bit of a slowdown in the pace, at least for the moment. You're gonna see the well, you should see the support start to rotate, but it's really been Zeros for SK Gaming on the tier that's kind of been filling in that role of the roaming support. Geb kind of forced to stay in lane, as we mentioned. Artemis is going to have a very hard time to deal with Shaggy Shank if they're not at parity.
And so Badger's got to just babysit this lane over and over. It means Princess can rotate more, look for opportunities, and if he gets a good taunt off, like he just does on Reels there, which the shield prevents from Badger, then he's going to be able to put some pressure on. I mean, if he can go to mid lane and find Captain Mid, it could be a big issue.
Such smart positioning by Shaggy Shank there, taking a step into the blue buff and then using So Beautiful to pierce his walls to get a bit of extra damage as well. Orange buff has come back in line, and Zeros may finally be able to get a variety. It's been some time.
Variety went very deep against Maniac, forced the Aegis off him there as well as the wet paper went down as well. So you can see Maniac having to recall back to base, and now there's an opportunity when the mid camps are spawning. If Variety rotates in there, it could be a bit of an advantage for Team Coast. But right now, SK already in position for them.
Yeah, SK's here. Tornadoes are down. Captain Twig should be able to secure these quite easily. Left side, Carino and Princess Tomato sitting there as well, so it should be an even split on those. We haven't seen the Ragnarok come out yet from Ninja Bobat, but you have to expect it coming any moment now. And Pen Boots online, he's got a lot of speed. What will be his next item is kind of the question. Will he be the Jotun's Wrath, which we would expect, or will he go into the Heartseeker and try to just carry this game through the mid game as the Fenrir?
It's a possibility to see either of those two items. It'll be interesting to see what he does. I mean, like you said, he's not used Ragnarok yet, though. He got the early kill before he was level 5, and I've not really seen him be aggressive with this Fenrir other than that for the most part.
That's an extremely early Gold Fury. Hindu man, this
is.
Could be ugly. Captain Twig doesn't have an ultimate available. He's going to throw it out. There's... Oh! They're going to go ahead and secure it, though.
Just walk away with it. That was a really nicely played. Yeah. Coast seemed to be on point with these sneaky Gold Furies, honestly.
That was like the least exciting Gold Fury I've ever seen. For Gold Fury, this should be really exciting. It just seemed so easy for Coast.
We're so used to casting big team fights that happen off Gold Furies, and then that one, although left-hand side, Reel's getting aggressive across the skies, get used, Boar defensively used. Now Shaggy's out of position as the ball hits him tomorrow. He can back away, but look at this. Zero's Carino on the way.
He's going to hit Shaggy. In some trouble now. Badger's going to go for the ultimate, but Shaggy going to get out. The Mez is there. He's going to actually try to turn and burn here. Standing in the Apollo heal. It's going to be enough. Down goes Badger. Down goes Zeros. But here comes the ultimate from Twig. Hitting 2. Shaggy Shank in a bit of trouble. Dashing back out. Can he fight it? Cannot indeed. Is there enough from Carino to clean up Twig? Doesn't matter. Too much damage. A double kill coming out there for Mr. Shank. No, I'm sorry. It was 1 apiece, but 2 kills apiece for Coast.
That was the duo lane of SK Gaming, the jungler of SK Gaming, and the mid lane of SK Gaming. They all got involved in that fight. Meanwhile, solo lane, Variety finds himself a killer maniac. We saw it a moment ago. He burnt the Aegis, and now Variety's on a warpath here in this lane against the Habois, and Jean-Quy getting online. This is bad things coming out from the side of SK Gaming here. Team Coast looking in great control.
We still haven't even really seen Fenrir get involved in this early mid stage.
How odd is that a Fenrir has not done anything? Well, now he is. Brutalized onto Badger, forcing the shield. Celestial Beam picks him with the Ragnarok. He's just going to stand in that heal and let the ticks go away as their Twig gets caught out of position. No taunt follow-up from Tomato, though, and the Snipe's not going to connect either. But that's 6-0 now.
6-0. Solo lane being 1, dual lane being 1, mid lane basically a parity, but Carino's found a lot of kills outside of this lane that have put him ahead by 2 levels and a lot of assists as well. And so basically all across the board, this is Team Coast game to win right now, 4,500 gold difference, and that's actually quite substantial.
Zeros gets a nice fearless combo. Spout comes off as well for Maniac. They don't want to go aggressive on Bobat because they don't know where everybody else is. So they played that one very safe. They could have killed Bobat there, but chose not to. I think they were just worried about themselves in their own positioning. Left-hand side, though, big taunt lands onto Reels.
Reels could be in some trouble here. A couple more auto attacks need to hit for Shaggy Shank to try to dive this. He'll only get 1 out of that, but it does give them very, very good lane positioning to try to steal the blue. However, they'll think better of it, go ahead and fall back to the blue of their own. No reason to overextend.
Variety is a beast right now. He's just forced Habois back again. Habois wants to stay around, but he's got to be careful because Zeros comes in with the blink, misses the fearless. Nice tune from him. And now Athena with the turnaround, looking for the damage. He's going to be able to dunk down onto him. Taunt lands onto Zeros, but Tears passive pays dividends.
Yeah, no ultimate available there from Variety to really go aggressive onto
I think they're going to keep
Zeros,
going.
but Bobat's
they're
here.
Keep going.
They're going to go deep for this one. Bobat's going to leap in. He's going to have the stun. He's going to force out Fearless Chain from Zeros. No, he's actually just going to eat the stun. Brutalize coming through. There's Yule's been forced out. Fearless down. And this is a tier 1 tower going the way of Coast Gaming. Pre-10 minutes.
Pre-10 minutes as well. Taking that tower down. Going to open up the map and allow Variety to rotate round now with the rest of his team. Gold Fury's still down, so they can keep applying pressure wherever they want to now. Bobat looking towards middle as the mid camps do spawn up again, and you can see Carino there as he's taking those ones down, just pushing Twig back under his tower again. And it's not the easiest thing in the world to do against an Aokwang.
No, it's definitely not, to control mid camps effectively against them. Tornado's just so good at zoning the enemy team out. But to answer an earlier question, it is going to be the Jotun's Wrath coming out for Ninja Bobat, so going for that cooldown reduction and a little bit of pen. Reels is in some trouble.
Reels is not having an easy game right now. I mean, the deficit at the start of the game with the initiation that didn't pay off for him, and Shaggy Shank getting up that solo kill, just, you know, a straight up 2v2. Not what he would have wanted in the early stages of that. There wasn't a lot Badger could have really done over there. But once again, we're going to see Badger go for these cooldown boots, and when you're at a deficit, I don't like this call.
I mean, he's a Heartseeker, and he's sitting on 1,600 gold. Goes back, buys rank 2 Cursed Gauntlet, but now he's down basically the finished Devourer's Gauntlet as well as a Boots 1 for Shaggy Shank. And Shaggy Shank sitting on another 700 gold in pocket.
He can't trade.
Oh, here's a Ragnarok out onto Badger deep in the enemy jungle. They're just going to burst him down easy peasy. Ninja Bobat will eat an Aokwang ultimate for his trouble, but that's just going to be a quick disengage. And once again, they're going to keep the Geb down. Sitting at level 9, Princess Tomato at 11. That makes objectives very hard to steal.
It does, and one of the reasons he's so far behind as well is because he's having to babysit so hard in this duo lane. Indeed. Because Reels is not having an easy time of it. Tomato, meanwhile, has been able to rotate around the map, look for opportunities to help out his team. And you can see that in his 1-0-4 scoreline right now. And look at left-hand side. They're very far ahead. Team Coast pushing in against Reels, forced the bore out there, I feel.
Shaggy's caught.
Here's Zeros.
He uses his beads and able to get right out of there. Very quick mez up. And Carino is just going to wander over here, throw down a heal, and wander back to mid.
Team Coast looking great. Honestly, like, this is like a clinic right now that they're putting on. Honestly, they're not making many mistakes at all. And even if they are doing, they're not getting punished for them from SK Gaming. And I think, you know, coming straight off the back of that TSM victory, they're pumping with morale right now. Yeah,
I do like the rank 3 blink picked up, though, by Tier. Hopefully try to get them back in the game, more initiations, try to destabilize these lanes. But as we mentioned a few times now, Badger having to sit in this dual lane, it's Tier's responsibility really to try to destabilize the mid lane, which means he can't put the pressure onto the solo like he wants to. And that's translating into Variety.
Oh my God, the whole team's here. The whole team has come over from Team Coast. Zeros uses Lawbringer to disengage for the most part, but now Bobat is here looking for the aggression. Brutalize going to do some work, but the shield comes out from Badger on the back of that, and now Twig finds a great squall. Tornado only going to hit onto 2 members there, but now we're going to see the rotation from Maniac, and a big Spirit Temper is juked out by Carino. He's going to be able to reposition, but Twig does find it.
Maniac does have an ultimate available here, going to rip through, but not going to do too much damage to Variety, who was already ulting as a junk way. He will, however, fall down at the end of things there. This is a great fight for SK Gaming. Can they find another hit? They just need to engage one more time, but it looks like they're going to try to take the Gold Fury. Badger, however, sitting at level 9 and not a lot of HP. This could be exploited by Princess Tomato. I'm interested who's going to tank it. Are they going to let Badger tank? Because if he gets too low, then Tomato can try and turn and burn and look for the burst. Apollo's coming down. Shaggy finds one. Will he be able to find more? He took a lot of damage from the squall from Twig. Has to reposition himself. He dodges Tomato, attacks Badger. Trying to close in, so is Zeros. They're looking for him. Zeros actually recalling. Tomato goes down, but no one's going to get Gold Fury now because both the supports are not in a position to get involved. Yeah, they will spot out this Bobat rotation as well. They see it with the ward. Shaggy Shank trying to play aggressive against it and bait them into an engagement. Going in once again is Ninja Bobat. They'll find a lot of damage with Brutalize onto Badger. There comes the ultimate, and one big hit from Shaggy Shank is enough to secure the kill onto Geb. Yet again, 0-5 for Badger. Badger's he's not been able to get himself in the right positions most of the time. And if when you play Geb, I'm sorry, I'm so confused with my words. How often do you die as Geb? It's not often that you get focused in team fights. You would expect 5 kills in the entire game. Who picks on a Geb? That's what Team Coast are doing here. They're trying to pick off the Geb. And they're bullying him. Zero's going to go in with the blink, but he's surrounded by 4 members. They're trying to force a disengage, but bursted down, and now with him dead, and now Tomato using the ultimate to get in there. That's going to be a Gold Fury over to Team Coast. Nothing SK can do. Yeah, that was... he was just a bit early. I think, was trying to maybe force that out and have his team rally behind him. Oh, now Hubble in some trouble. He's going to get taunted out. There's a big Spirit Tempest coming through in conjunction with that Crushing Wave, doing a tremendous amount of damage. Variety staying in there, though, channeling the Ghost, but the Geb shield is enough to keep Maniac alive for now. Nope, last Ghost chase him down, and down you go, my friend. And Variety is going to just go ahead and recall in the enemy jungle. A-okay. Reels maybe looking to spot him out, but not going to find too much. Carino and Shaggy Shank can combine to go ahead and steal away this blue buff as well. And Princess Tomato there to zone out Badger. Steal out the blue buff. Badger going to rotate back round. Nothing he can do against this whole swarm of Team Coast there. I mean, that whole engagement that happened with SK in the jungle, it was a misplay from Coast. We saw them get a couple of kills like that. Why? Because they all sat in a tornado from Captain Twig. They just sat there in the tornado and fought. And that's the reason SK got themselves back into it to an extent. But then the extended engagements overall means Gold Fury once again goes to Coast, and Coast still firmly in the driving seat. Mid-camp's going to Carino on the right side here. Just continue to extend their lead. Now 7,300, 8,500 experience in favor of Team Coast. And once again, it's Shaggy Shank leading the way for all players. 4-0-4 on the Apollo, level 16 with 8,400 net worth. What else can be said about Shaggy Shank besides that he has been extremely, extremely dominant in this tournament? He's been really consistent as well. That's the key word there. Like, looking at the other Hunters right now, I mean, Reels has had really consistent games too, but this one's not looking great for him. But Shaggy Shank, he just always seems to be in the right place at the right time. And even when he looks overextended, he seems to know that he can reposition himself at a moment's notice and realize that his position is key to playing that role. There's not a lot of Hunters that have the kind of chutzpah, to borrow a word from Yiddish there, to kind of say, look, I'm just going to turn around and try to fight this. Yeah. I mean, and notably in the duo lane earlier in this game where the Raw heal coming in, he just said, look, it's down. I'm just going to turn around and start fighting, and they end up finding a double kill on the back of it. And he's done that consistently, especially with the Raw in earlier games. Just said, it's time for me to fight. Not back off, not try to dodge roll out of this, just stand my ground and just really make myself a problem for the enemy team. They have to try to force me out, and it's not going to be easy. Even here, you see, willing to trade shots with Reels, just perfectly happy to do it and try to force down this tower. It's just one of the strengths of Apollo. Reels did a good job, though, defending that tower for the most part.
time. It's one hit from death right now, but Shaggy going to be able to heal up once again. But look at the right-hand side.
Boys.
Fire Giant being done, and they're trying to disengage now because they can see that SK Gaming were aware of it. Zero's already low. That sniper hit from Carino.
But look, they didn't leash the Fire Giant. He's still there. Princess Tomato still tanking up. Now they're going to get the leash and put him back to full HP. But they had whittled it down. Apollo's across the sky. Maniac could be in some trouble here if he comes crashing down. Crushing Wave already used, which prompts Shaggy Shank coming in. Was there a girdle used during that fight? Yeah, Princess Tomato with a full rank girdle. They want to win this game early on. Ninja Bobat trying to find his damage. Will kill Badger. Will go down to the tornado. Now it's going to be Zero's in some trouble. Looks like the last ghost not going to find him from Variety. Captain Twig forcing out Variety as well. This fight actually turning in favor of SK Gaming for now. 2 members down for Coast.
Reels is here.
Oh, he got caught up in the board during his dash, and this should be an easy kill onto Mr. Shank, and down he goes. It's a 4-man wipe for 3 in favor of SK Gaming.
Yeah, 4 for 3, and that's going to deny the Fire Giant from being done from them, and it's going to give a lot of help to the side of SK Gaming. Honestly, Captain Twig now 4-0-4. He's been involved in every single one of these kills, and you know what it's like when Aokwon gets big late game. We saw it from Sayo in the previous weeks. You know, one ultimate can turn the tide of a fight.
Even a Squall can just take someone completely out of the fight, throwing out about 600 damage, plus that massive slow. It just makes so hard to re-engage. Maniac here going for a bit of that Game Hunter build, though, with an Ethereal Staff rushed onto the Hubwa. So, not going to be the major damage dealer at this stage in the game, as we saw the Crushing Wave coming through in an earlier fight, not really turning the fight in their favor.
I think it helps. The Ethereal Staff gives you early health overall and mana, you know, which is both useful to the Hubwa. Once he gets to the full item build, though, that will pay dividends because the extra mana you'll get from other items will increase his damage overall. But during the early stages, just there for the tankiness more than anything.
And I love the counter ward play from Coast, something they've been very strong at for this, basically this entire tournament. They've been counter warding. I mean, you see sentry wards out for them all the time. They've actually spotted Captain Twig trying to counter snipe himself, and now he's going to have some trouble throwing out the ultimate. Oh, Bobat's leaping out of it, but still gets hit. He's going to go ahead and use Ragnarok to get out of here. The Athena damage mitigation, the only thing keeping him alive. Maniac going to be able to beads out of that, putting in a lot of damage. But here comes the Girdle of Might from the Athena, still trying to fight this. Is Coast, is Jean-Claude going to be enough? There's a stun, big plays from Variety. Zero's in some trouble now. He's going to go down, and down will go everybody in that fight. Just Reels available. He's going to get piled in on as well. Is there an ultimate available from Shaggy Shank? No, he used it to get in this fight. Reels in a bit of trouble. Boar is used, chain stunning, but it's going to be at least a tier 1 and maybe even the Fire Giant here for Coast Gaming.
Yep, tier 1 Fire Giant. That should be the call right now. And you can see that immediately they're going around for it. Reels has no ultimate either. He can't really try and contest this one overall. Only going to have the Rain of Arrows available to him for anything else. So Fire Giant looks like he's going to go to Team Coast at 18 minutes in this game. They're all healthy enough with the sustain coming out from Carino to be able to bring this one down, no problem.
Easy peasy Fire Giant for them. You could tell that they were feeling themselves. They really tried to take it earlier on. Didn't get it, but said, okay, fine. We'll go ahead and take this fight anyway. And how clutch was that for Ninja Bobat? Realizing he was going to go down, goes ahead and throws out the Ragnarok and picks up that Hubwa, forcing the beads out of him, which then the rest of the damage just came piling in on top.
I mean, the Crushing Wave connected with Variety as well, but Variety with that Warlock Sash was very, very tanky overall. And then just turned this fight around, throwing the ghosts everywhere with Exercise Demons, and just caused so many issues for them that they just slowly melted away to the damage. So SK Gaming really with the backs against the wall in this one, only tier 2 towers remaining, but Gold Fury online, and I don't even think they can contest that right now, especially against the Fire Giant Team Coast.
Yeah, I feel like we haven't given enough credence either to the support girdle coming out for Princess Tomato.
Yeah,
first time we're going to see this item in this tournament. And what I really like that they've done with it, they've matched it with an early Chronos pendant onto Carino, saying, look, he's going to be losing out on some damage by going for this item, but he is going to make up for it massively with the cooldown reduction, and it's been very hard for SK to deal with it. The burst from Raw has been a huge factor in this game.
Yeah, it really has, and that's really paid off with that girdle of support coming in from Tomato. Because normally what you see from the supports is the defensive item, because you're there to fill that role that's needed. Normally it's a weakening curse, but there's no one with real healing, you know, on this team, so you don't have to worry about that one. Now and again you see Shell, but even that's a rarity, and to see something like Girdle of Support being picked up in the final, it shows that, you know, the balance of the different available items for the teams is fantastic.
Yeah, and it's because Heavenly Agility synergizes so well with Zhongkui that he's able to pick that up, and then it leaves an open spot for Princess Tomato, as you mentioned. And the Girdle of Support also helps Zhongkui a lot with his spread damage. Jeb gonna ult in, gonna find a couple there, but isn't gonna be enough. It's just him. The team streaming in now from behind. Reels melt. Ninja Bobat kills Badger. Still sitting in that ultimate. Ragnarok available. Maniac in a lot of trouble. He's going to go down. Aokwon ultimate ripping through, doing plenty of damage, but it's just not going to be enough. Zero's with the chain onto everybody, but he gets exploded by Shaggy Shank.
So much damage.
And that's an easy fight for Coast Gaming, a 4-for-1.
So much damage. That big thing about that fight, this Phoenix is going to go down here. You can't see Captain Twig survive against the whole team. Shaggy's going to go aggressive. He knows he can fight 1v1. No problem. The Tornado, they're all going to sit in it, but look how tanky they are. They burst him down in seconds. That's a Phoenix. They could possibly get more off that.
They may try for the victory here. They have 2
could.
seconds for Badger, but he's not going to be a great deterrent. No ultimate available for him. They're going to go in and try to take this one down against Coast Gaming. Do they have enough? Will they disengage here? No, looks like they're going all the way in for the victory. Badger zoned out, continuing to do the damage. Minions being healed up now. They've just reset. It's gained a bit of health back. Continuing to try to stay in there is Team Coast. Will it be enough damage? Just a couple more hits remaining. 21 minutes. It is going to go the way of Coast Blue.
Coast Gaming with a very fast victory there at the end of the game. They played it so well towards the end. Big thing about that fight at the end there that we saw was we saw Badger blink into the back line to try and CC him up, but he was alone because Princess Tomato got a 4-man taunt off on the backside to keep them all busy, force them to use beads or actives to get themselves back in the fight. Wasn't able to before Badger had already been bursted down, and when he went down, the rest of the team soon followed.
Yeah, and you see what happened anytime that Fenrir Ragnarok came out, how much damage Apollo was able to do, and this is why that god has been banned out so much. Also worth noting is that the reason that he's so high priority is his passive, giving him the extra attack speed, plus the Devo Glove meta, gives him so much life steal. And we saw it actually happen early on in the duo lane where he was quite a bit low, picked up the blue buff and was able to just heal to full in one wave. Very gross. We do have a quick replay available for you guys. Let's go ahead and hop into that. So yeah, here we see Shaggy Shank's going to come across the skies as the Gold Fury attempt comes out from SK Gaming, crashing in now. He does take quite a bit of damage on his way in, but is able to just avoid so much. Takes out Reels with the crash, avoids that squall from Captain Twig, which really helps him out, and is able just to back right on out of that. Great positioning.
Yeah, it was good position overall, but where that came from was the fact that SK took too long to take down that Gold Fury overall, and the position they left themselves in got very weak. Reels was the one tanking it because of the threat of Badger dying to it if Princess Tomato comes into steal. Reels tanked it, Apollo came round, picked up the kill, secured that one, moved on to the rest. It was really nicely done from Coast overall. Yeah, indeed, and that, was a Coast game through and through. Yeah, it really was. Did SK even get a kill on that? Yeah, I mean, they picked up 10 kills, but I mean, at early stage of the game, it was, 7-8 to nothing before SK got on the board. Yeah, I mean, it took such a long time for them to get on the board, and the only time they got on the board was when Coast was so aggressive because they knew they were stronger. They knew they were ahead overall. They were able to do that. I mean, they basically got a lot of kills because of the fact that they sat in tornadoes because they could. That's generally it. Well, we'll see what Coast brings to the table in game number 2. Will it be the pocket strat to try to throw SK Gaming off of their game, or will it be Coast pushing through with their classic strong lineups and revolving around Shaggy Shank and Ninja Bobat? I don't know. I think Coast came out really strong. They came out so strong this game. Maybe they want to get 2-game lead and then do the same thing again. See if it goes wrong. If it goes well, then games where you can have a bit of fun and you see if there's something unusual. Maybe it's game 3. We'll look for the pocket strat. But we'll be looking for a wonderful segment once again from Mr. Red Eye. Take it away.